Hello and welcome. Animal for this week. Jesus. The Traveler on top. Ooh, a ladybug. Gonna be a lucky week. A lobster. And we have a starfish. This is the one that was on top. And then we have our ladybug. So keep kicking this week. Don't give up. Our starfish. And our lobster. Lobsters are, for the most part, from what I know of, they're very cold water creatures. So whether it's spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically, maybe you're in pretty chilly waters right now. But it's gonna be okay. You know, you gotta move at your own pace, but you also don't want to be stagnant. But if you move too fast, you might trip over yourself, so you don't want to do that. Messages for this week. That's very direct. Okay, so a lot of you, it's going to be emotional. I'm pretty sure Venus is in retrograde right now. I'm pretty sure. This one was on top, so it could just be you miss getting messages. As I said that, this is the one that was on the bottom. You miss getting messages. Not just physically, but this is spiritually too. You feel shut out. And water doesn't stay cold forever. Winter doesn't stay winter forever. Also, what came out was, I'm sorry. So, there is remorse. Uprooting isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes you just need more room in the pot to grow, right? And this also came out with it. So I'm not going to say moving on from a relationship because I think you should do what feels right to you. And with this whole messenger thing, you know, you're going to be guided with what's right for you, and that's your path and your choice. I think hermit mode is a very healthy action to take right now. Intuitively, I feel that way. Because I think you need to sit with your emotions and allow the waters to calm themselves within you. But there's other things in your life that you can keep moving that will help you, especially with the Traveler here. it would help to look back on the mistakes that you made. The lessons that you learned. Because that was right underneath the weight card. And these things will also become clear, you know. Root rot is not what you want for a plant. You don't want to shell yourself in, because they molt. They don't keep the same shell forever, right? Allow yourself to be yourself. You don't want to mask yourself to make somebody else happy, right? Because that's not really happiness. That's just self-sacrifice. And it's your life, not theirs. Okay. Kind of thought that one would come out. So we have fated to suffer on top. Mindset is a very big thing here. One of the things you might want to molt off is your mindset. Your mindset will cause root rot to what you want to grow. Root rot will kill everything, the whole plant. Roots are what absorb the nutrients, right? The temple of my body also came out. So she has a necklace there in the card. She also is very, at least I interpret her as defensive. Do you feel like are you comfortable in your own skin? Do you accept yourself for who you are? Do you like what you see? It's really what I'm getting from that. Because, like, it's almost like she's scared of herself, you know? And if you interpret it differently, then you should go with your intuition. This deck usually has a lot of reading with it. 3 cards. Okay. 31, 32, and 7. So we have this one. Arrows are pointing in 2 different directions. It's almost like, there's 2 on the one side, too. It's almost like, the 4 directions. There was this book I read. It was about Native American culture, and it talked about the 4 directions, and not all opposites attract. Sometimes they push themselves away, right? This one was 32. And this one was 31. I'm only going to read 7 because that's what they're really telling me to do. So that's what I'm going to go with. Meaning. If you have drawn the sigil, you have assigned a meaning to the situation, or an experience that is part of the situation that is not the actual meaning of the experience or situation. People search for a way of interpreting the implication of every experience in their lives. Seeking out the meaning of experiences is an advanced form of consciousness, but as we all know too well, there are pitfalls to advancement. The ability to derive meaning is both something that sets our species apart as an evolved and rapidly expanding facet of consciousness, as well as what causes us to self-destruct. The quality of our experience is flavored by one thing, and that is the meaning that we assign to the experience. It is crucial to recognize that there is a difference between what actually happens and the meaning of what happens. Your mindset, your perception. We must see that meaning does not inherently exist in the world in of itself. Therefore, meaning does not inherently exist in a situation. It is an interpretation, and it is best not to confuse interpretation with truth. If the meaning does not inherently exist in an experience, we must do and assign it to the experience, and then we mistake the event and the meaning of the event for the same thing. You can destroy your whole life based on the meaning you assign to an event. For example, imagine that a 3-year-old girl asks her dad to play dolls, but he is on the phone. He yells at her to stop bugging him. This is a traumatic experience for her at 3 years old. She takes it personally. Now let's pretend the meaning she assigns to this event is, I am insignificant to my dad. That was not the meaning of the experience of the event for the father. The meaning for the father was, I'm busy right now. But the moment that little girl assigns that meaning to the event, it is as if a colored lens comes up over her eyes, and from that moment on, all things that happen between her and her father are filtered through that colored lens. So mindset is going to be a very big thing this week. How do you interpret yourself? How do you interpret how people feel about you? And are you afraid to ask them how they feel about you? My own truth. I am truthful with myself because I love myself. I can handle reality. I know I have whatever it takes to find my way through to the other side of a challenge. So just like everything else, you'll get through this too. It can be difficult even recognizing that there is a lens, sometimes, well, not sometimes, but it does help to remove yourself from your daily habitat, if you will, because you get so used to what's around you and the people that you're around that you just You forget sometimes. You forget yourself. Uh, and you matter too. Inner conversations. I speak to myself in loving ways about my own self. I hold myself in the embrace of compassion as the Divine Mother who would hold her child. I am kind to myself. Very blurry. Hello? Focus. Oh, there we go. Um, so, self love, removing old filters. You got to go to the third eye doctor and update your prescription. Some upgrades. Hopefully that helped. Hope you have a wonderful, amazing week this week.